always am thrown off with how tall this thing sets up. So I want to talk to y'all just a little bit about putting the joy back into your homeschool, because I feel like while yes, homeschooling is typically very enjoyable and it's fun, let's face it, we're with our kids 24/7. So there are definitely times where homeschooling is not an easy undertaking. We can get overwhelmed. We can feel like we never have a break. We can feel like our wheels are spinning every day, all day, because we are with our kids. We're 100% present with them at all times. Hi, so if you're hopping on, go ahead and let me know where you are watching from. I've got some crazy hair. We spent most of the day at the pool, and now we are getting ready to head to our first week of Awanas at our new church. So a little bit of craziness going on, but it's a good crazy. And those of y'all that are new, or you're watching this on YouTube and you've never seen one of my videos before, my name is Tanya Johnson. I'm the founder of Helping Hearts Homeschool. And basically I just help parents and grandparents navigate all that is homeschooling. Because again, a lot of times it is rainbow and sunshine. And other times it is absolutely not rainbows and sunshine. So I just kind of keep the reality side of Facebook going, or not of Facebook, of, there we go, of homeschooling going strong. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about exactly what the title says, just putting joy back into your homeschool. So I have 4 points here for you. The first one is just simply knowing your why. Why are you homeschooling in the first place? For most of us, homeschooling is not the only option. I know I have a few friends that tune in from other countries because y'all are missionaries. I get for you it may be the only option, but I know for the majority of my audience, homeschooling is not the only option. So do me a favor, because I do like to see within the community why everyone chose homeschooling. So put down in the comments why you personally chose to homeschool. And I'm going to tell you, we chose to homeschool on accident. It wasn't even a choice. It was very much, well, I'll just tell you the story. So my daughter's birthday is August 5th. In the town that we were living at when it was time for her to go to preschool, the cutoff for the preschool, I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it was like a week after, or a week before her birthday maybe. But I know she only missed the cutoff by a few days. And I know we could have fought to basically make her get accepted, because we had a friend whose birthday was the day before hers that they did fight to get their daughter into preschool. But I was not convinced that Glory had to go to school right away. Like, I wasn't convinced that she was just the super ahead of her years kid that needed to be in a classroom. But I also knew that she needed to be in a classroom before the end of the year. So I knew that we didn't want to wait a whole nother year before putting her in school, if that makes sense. Like, I wasn't looking at my daughter like, oh my goodness, she's a genius and has to be in school right now. But I was also looking at her and thinking, okay, within 6 months, she is going to need to be in school, or she's going to be chomping at the bit ready to learn, and she's going to have nothing there for her. So I told my husband, because I was avidly against homeschooling, which is something that I know a lot of people don't know about me, because hello, I'm a homeschool advocate now. But I was very much against homeschooling, whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But I told my husband, I was like, I think I'm just gonna homeschool her for preschool. I mean, it's preschool. If I screw it up, it's not that big of a deal. She goes to school next year, which is the plan anyways. She'll be a little bit ahead because she's gotta learn something from me, right? Like, you can't screw it up that bad. And if we like it, maybe it's something we'll look into, because at the time we were wanting to start traveling, and there were just a few things that we didn't really want to be tied down to a school schedule. I had already started working from home, so I had complete time freedom when it came to my job, and I didn't know that I really wanted to be tied down to a school schedule, but in my opinion, that was not a strong enough reason to not put my kid in school. So we did homeschooling for preschool and absolutely fell in love with it. From there, I started doing a lot more research that first year of, okay, what does homeschooling look like when it comes to state requirements? What does homeschooling look like when it comes to getting support and being a part of communities? And I just met a whole bunch of people who homeschooled their kids, were farther along than I was, so I asked all the questions. And honestly, we just fell in love with it, and we have been homeschooling ever since. So we started homeschooling 100% by accident, but our why for homeschooling was a few different things, and I'll kind of tell you my big why at the end. But examples of what your why could be. It could be faith. So it could be that there is not a school near you that has the same religious foundation that you want to bring your kids up with. It could be freedom, meaning you don't want to be tied down to a schedule. Maybe your spouse travels for work and you get to travel as a family. That's a large part of our story. It could be freedom just in the respect of you wanting to be able to get up and go and have beach days and take advantage of the seasons when they're there. And it could be as simple as one-on-one education. Maybe your child needs one-on-one education, or maybe you just see the value in having one-on-one education, whether or not your child quote-unquote needs that time. So for us, it was twofold. The one-on-one education was very appealing to me. My daughter is a kinesthetic learner. If you're not familiar with the 4 learning types, I will leave them linked down in the comments. It's absolutely something I would check out. Kinesthetic learning typically does not happen very well in a classroom. So that was a huge thing that appealed to me. And then the biggest thing is the freedom. I went to school to be a teacher, so I knew that credentials-wise, I knew what I was doing. I love the community that I found with homeschoolers. So I knew that if I had questions or bumps down the road, like I knew where to look. And then we were doing a lot of traveling. My husband travels for work. We like to travel as a family just for fun. So we decided we wanted to keep that freedom and be able to completely be in charge of our own time. So you, whatever your why is, and your why could be in words. You could have a mission statement for your homeschool. It could be a collage of pictures. I am very much a visual person when it comes to my goals and my why and tying in the emotion and stuff. So at our old house, y'all that are relatively new here, we just relocated from right outside of Chicago down to South Carolina. So a huge culture shock. But at our old house, I had an office/classroom, and so on one of the walls, I had a bunch, like a picture collage, basically, of our why. And I'm actually working on doing the same thing here above my desk. So that's how I like to display my why. But maybe you want to put it as your screensaver on your phone. Maybe you want to put it on the front of your planner. Whatever it is, whatever your specific why is, whether that's like artistically displayed somewhere or in the form of a mission statement, have it readily available for you to look at day in and day out, so you have a solid reason in the back of your mind of why you're homeschooling. Because point number 2, I guess, is gonna be have a game plan for the hard days. Because hard days are gonna come. Again, I just told you, I keep it very real when it comes to homeschooling. It is not a rainbows and sunshine type of thing. You're gonna have hard days. You're gonna have days when you're like, why the heck am I homeschooling? It would be so much easier for all of us homeschool parents to go drop our kids off for somebody else to teach from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4 p.m., whatever the time frame is, and have those hours completely to ourselves. Like, what parent would not love having that break every single day? Now, honestly, I wouldn't love having it every single day, but I could absolutely look at my schedule and be like, I would love to have a break a couple times a week where I could just drop my kid off and let someone else deal with them. Again, just being honest with you. And if you're a homeschool mom, you probably have had those thoughts yourself. But at the end of the day, we choose not to. We choose to 100% raise our kids. And I think that's an awesome thing to do. But you're gonna have days when your schedule is just way overpacked. Maybe you scheduled too many things in for the day. Maybe things just popped up because things have a way of doing that. Maybe you didn't schedule too many things, but too many things happen to pop up in the same day or even the same week. You're gonna have days when you just have a fussy kid that doesn't wanna do school. I've been there. Mine has turned from fussy to having an attitude, but fussy is how it started and she was little. And then you're gonna have days when maybe they're having a bad day, not attitude-wise, but like they're physically either sick or overly emotional or whatever, and they're just resisting school for that reason. You're gonna have days that are considered bad. And it might be you're the one resisting school. Maybe you're the one that needs a break. You're overstimulated. So have a game plan. What do you do? Like, already have a couple things in your head. What do you do when a bad day comes? And again, let me know in the comments what you do when a bad day comes, because let's share our resources. So what I like to do when bad days come are pack up and go to the park. Now, if we go to the park and we play and the attitude all changes, we may sit and do a little bit of school at the park. But if not, we just take the day off and we turn it into a field trip day. I haven't found one here, but by our old house, about 20 minutes away, was a pet store that you could go in and play with the puppies. And so we would do that on the hard days. And it's funny how a puppy will instantly lift your attitude. Library is another good one, and that can be incredibly educational. Taking field trips in general, depending on where you live and what your circumstances are, there's typically some place you can go and take a pretty cool field trip. We love going to the beach. We love hanging out at the pool. Get something, have a plan to where your next hard day, you're gonna do X, Y, Z. Something that is very easy to do, especially where cold weather is coming for most of us. I don't really know what the seasons are here in South Carolina. I know that it is middle towards the end of September and it's in the 90s. And I know we've been swimming, and my birthday is September 26th. And I know as a kid, even living in New Mexico, we sure as heck were not swimming weather on my birthday. So I don't know. I'm a little psyched that it's still this warm, but I don't know how the seasons are. But when it starts getting cooler, very easy to sit and have a movie day with your kid and have that extra cuddle time. And maybe they just need their cup filled. Maybe they're being fussy and they're acting out because their love tank is not as full as it needs to be. Through nobody's fault. We all get busy and sometimes things just get neglected. So maybe having a movie day where you're able to have a lot more snuggles is something that they need to kind of refuel. So basically, have a strategy for surviving these seriously stressful days. That is what number 2 is. And then number 3 is going to be break it down, because you need to know how many bad days you're allowed to have. Meaning, what are your state standards? How many days do you have to teach? Because if there are 365 days in the year and you are choosing not to do year-round homeschooling, let me just break this down because I didn't do this before. So let's say that you're choosing to do 9-month homeschooling, and we're just gonna say 30 days in a month. So 9 times 30 is 270. It's like, oh wow, that's a lot. So if you only have to school 180 days, that leaves 90 days that you're allowed to have quote unquote bad days. Except it doesn't, because there's gonna be approximately 2, 4, 6, 8 weekends, like 8 weekend days out of every month. So 8 times 9 is 72. Let me tell you, the brain fog is real today. So 90 minus 72 means you're only allowed to have 18 bad days in an entire school year. If you live in a state that you have to have 180 school days, you're not counting, and that's not even counting the holidays either, which we all know around Christmas and Thanksgiving, we all like to take time off to go spend with family. So you need to have a very realistic expectation of, okay, how many school days do I have to teach? And in my state, what is allowed to be counted as a school day? Because a lot of states, field trips are allowed to be counted as school days. So again, just what are your state requirements? That's something that we all need to know. Now that is one reason we do choose to do year-round homeschooling, because year-round homeschooling gives us those extra 90 days on top of the ones I just told you about to have bad days and still hit our 180. We school year-round, literally exactly what it sounds. We did take a break for summer this year because we're moving cross-country. We didn't take the whole summer off, but we took a month, which is the longest we've ever taken off since we started schooling when my daughter was 3.5. And it was awesome. I don't know that I would recommend it. I did not like getting back into school. I still feel like we're not 100% back into the rhythm, but again, every person's family is gonna look different when it comes to how much they need to take off during certain seasons, and you just gotta be flexible with that. That's one huge advantage of homeschooling. Now, what schedule are you gonna follow? So again, when you're breaking it down, are you gonna do a 5-day week? Are you gonna do a 4-day week? Are you gonna do Sabbath schooling, which is 6 weeks on and 1 day off? There's so many schedules. Now, we purposely do a 4-day week, but we stretch it into 5 or 6. Meaning, I schedule it out to happen over 4 days. But I know, okay, Monday we're not feeling it. We typically do anywhere from 9 to 15 subjects per day. Now, some of our subjects we only do 2 or 3 times a week, so that's why I say 9 to 15. It really just depends. And some subjects are like devotions. So our devotions, it's a subject that we choose to do. It's not like a subject that's required to be done. So with that, I know which subjects I have to teach that are state mandated. And I know which subjects I'm putting in there because I want to teach them. So if push comes to shove, we do a weekly overview. Push comes to shove, if something's not going to get done that week, it's going to be something that I'm choosing to do, not something that I have to do. So just having the knowledge in your head of what you have to teach will really help you with that. Let's see. If you want to do extracurriculars, again, you get to choose that, but decide what are you going to teach. And then if you are not 100% sure what like your state standards and stuff are, and I'll link this in the bottom as well, I have a blog post that talks about getting your family started on homeschooling, goes over all the state standards for all the different states, what your kids should know in certain grade levels. So it's just very comprehensive on getting started in homeschooling. I'll link that down there. Maybe you're brand new. Maybe you're not homeschooling yet, but you're looking into it. That would be something to check out. Or maybe you're a seasoned homeschooler, but you just moved across country like we did. Because I sure did have to go look at links and figure out what my new state required, because every state is different. And of course, if you're watching here from another country, welcome. I'm so glad that you tune in. However, our laws are going to be different than yours, so there's a link on that blog for your laws for your country as well. And then number 4, in putting the joy back in your homeschool. 4 is the fun one, guys. So 1 is just know your why. 2 is going to be go ahead and game plan for the hard days because we know they're going to come. 3 is break it down so you know what you have to teach, how many days, all that stuff, so you're not in trouble at the end of the year because you have taken quote-unquote bad days. And then 4 is making it matter. So one huge perk of homeschooling is we get to decide what we teach, when we teach it, and what extra fun things we add on around our lessons. So have this conversation with your kids. Guys, we took a Disney trip last school year. Okay, most schools that I know of do not take field trips to Disney. So that was something fun that my daughter got to look forward to all year, and we got to take her on a Disney trip. So have the conversation with your kids, with your husband, look at your budget, all the things. What are some things that you want to do? Maybe pick 1 or 2 things that you would like to do this year as a family or just as a field trip. Maybe it's not a family trip, but it's something that you and your kids want to do. And put that on the calendar. Look at your yearly stuff and pick, okay, what's 1 or 2 events happening in our community that happen every single year? I know for us, and we were so bummed because we missed it because we moved right during the season, was the big fair that we have every single year. Well, we missed it because we moved, and that's okay. Because now the area that we're living in, they have a big, I think they call it a Harvest Fest, or Harvest Party? I don't remember. Fall Festival, that's what they call it. And they do like the trunk or treating. Our church actually hosts it, which is really cool. And so it's for the entire community. It's a huge event. And it's something that my daughter's already looking forward to. So that's definitely something that we're going to plan to attend every year that they have it. Look at monthly holidays. So get a calendar out and look, okay, what holidays do we want to make a big deal out of? And it doesn't have to be going and doing something. It could be having a homeschool party or a themed day. We do, let's see, so not a whole lot in January. We typically will do like a New Year's Day, something small. February, we typically have a Valentine's party where she gets to either invite a couple friends over or we have a special school day. In March, we always do a St. Patrick's Day, school day. So green everything, it's so much fun. April, we typically do a big Easter party. We have an Easter egg hunt with kids in the community. Not much in May or June. July, we typically have a 4th of July school day where everything is red, white, and blue, glitter everywhere, lots and lots of crafts, fireworks, all the things. August is her birthday, so August we typically don't do anything special school-wise, but we go out and have a special shopping day or something. September, we don't do a whole lot. October, we have a Halloween party. November, we do some kind of fun, like Thanksgiving-themed school day. And then December, we have a Christmas party. So you get to decide, but make it fun. Like, make the fact that you're homeschooling something that your kid looks at when they're older and like, oh my gosh, I was so privileged to be homeschooled, and my mom made it so amazing for us. Instead of, man, I can't believe my mom homeschooled me. She robbed me of my childhood. I sat in front of a video every day, all day. I was bored as crap. I had no friends. Like, you get to decide what your homeschool narrative is, because I guarantee you, I have friends that are on both ends of the spectrums as adults that tell me about their homeschool experience as a kid, and absolutely both sides. So we're in 100% control what our kids' homeschool story looks like when they're an adult looking back on their life as a homeschooler. Now, you've also got to throw in there the weekly appointments that you get to do. Doctor's appointments, dentists, church events, that kind of stuff. So you may not want to in the sense of like, ooh, this is so fun, I want to go do this. But you may want to in the sense of, I know it's best for my well-being to go and get my yearly, women's checkup. It sucks, but it's got to happen, right? Or, okay, I know it's not super fun, but it is definitely something it's smart for me to make sure that my kid is in Bible club every single week. So yes, I got to get ready for church. Yes, I've got to get my kid to the building, and yes, I've got a XYZ, but we know that it's necessary. So something else you want to write down. And then daily. How are we going to make it enjoyable on a daily basis? Lots of games, lots of crafts, child interest. It doesn't have to be stuff that you're sitting and doing right with them, although it can be. There are plenty of things that I have an only child, so obviously we have a lot of like one-player logic games and that kind of stuff, lots of fun crafts. If you have siblings, you can have actual game time that they get to go do. So lots of things that you can do to make it fun on a daily basis as well, without putting a whole lot of extra work on yourself. So I hope this helps. If you found any value in this, you can share it out to your friends, tag someone in the comments that maybe needs to see this. Maybe they're thinking of homeschooling, or maybe they're struggling with homeschooling and this would be a help and a resource for them. Or just drop in the comments, what's one thing that you're gonna take from this and you're gonna start implementing with your family, or maybe one thing that you had never thought of. So I am excited to kind of see what you guys do with this, and I will see y'all in my next training.